We are live.
We'll do it live!
Welcome everyone to Claret and Big Blue, probably the only podcast on the internet dedicated to West Ham United and the New York Giants. That's right, football and football, balls for everyone's taste. I am Mike Fish, trying to work out why my camera is trying to cut me out of
What are you doing, dude?
I don't know. I'm an
What are
amateur.
you even doing, bro?
But I am Mike Fish, and I'm joined as always by the man that they were thinking of when they coined the phrase, everything's bigger in Texas. It's Mr. Alex Middleton. How you doing?
Were they thinking of me? I don't
know. I just thought it was a cool thing to say.
It is a cool thing, and like that is a very common thing. Like every advertiser, well, everything's bigger in Texas. That's why we got Texas trucks. And like every advertiser uses everything's bigger in Texas. Every fast food place, all of that. So like that is not a just like they only say that everywhere else. Like they say that all the time in Texas.
Do you have that on your business card when you go out of town?
Well, you got your business card is actually like the size of a book. So like
giant
so your business card itself is bigger in Texas. Like honestly, when I to get used to using like the debit cards they give you here, which are like 6 feet in length, like you know those big checks, like that's what the debit cards are like, and like it's just like I mean, this is a fucking giant ATM, dude. But you know, you get used to it. The wallet's a little bit bigger, hurts your back after a while, but I'm used to it now.
Oh, God bless you for working through that. But we have a third wheel today. We have a special guest joining us to start off the show. Since we've got a lot, apparently there's a draft coming up. Have you heard that?
People are talking about it. There's a rumor that is happening, yes.
Word on the street. And so we brought in a little bit of an expert. She tweets all about it. It's pretty exciting. That's where I get most of my information from. So we're going to bring on Little Miss Stephie Smalls. What up? There we go. We're all good now.
I was like, whoa, what's happening? How's it going, guys?
How's
What's
it going?
up?
It's good. I kind of look naked. I need to like boost myself up.
Oh yeah, with his little lower thirds thing. Way to go, Mike. You perv.
Shit. Okay, what's up? How's it going?
We gotta get the viewers. We gotta get the viewers.
Yeah.
Really, that's definitely how you can get them because if I pulled my hair down, woo. Okay.
Claret and Big Blue after dark. Welcome along.
Right.
I should probably retweet this too.
How are you doing?
I am good. I feel like today was a little overwhelming, a lot at once, a lot of information, a lot of news, things happening, chaos is erupting. I'm loving it. This is like, I love this part of the year. I think it's so, people hate it. I think it's hilarious. It's so fun to me. It's a
you
blast.
thrive in the chaos.
I love the chaos.
I guess what would you say your favorite thing is about today? And then what would your like what is the most annoying take you've seen on the Twitter sphere today? Because there's been a lot of them.
Yeah, there has been a lot of them. I love can I say non-Giants wise or
yeah.
Giants? Okay, so my favorite non-Giants wise is Aaron Jones not going back to the Packers. I think that is fantastic. I love that for him. I think that is going to just unleash all the goodness for him. And my least favorite thing today, and we'll make it a Giants thing, is I hate the contract that they redid with Toliolo. I think
Toliolo.
Yeah, whatever his name, however you.
Yeah, I don't know his name either.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, do we need to know his name? No. But it was just, you're not really saving much money there, guys. I mean, what, $1 million or something? Like, it's not, it really was a little bit too expensive for him.
For a third tight end, too, right? You have Caden Smith still coming back.
Right.
And then, I mean, we talked about this last week. Evan Ingram's not going anywhere despite how much we hate him or whatever.
He's not going anywhere ever. He will get tagged. That's the most disgusting.
You think so?
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's another discussion for another time. But yes, I can't stand that guy.
Yeah.
So, but the big news, I guess, when Giants free agency news today was that Lenny Williams is coming back. He got franchise tagged. Apparently, they still are working on a deal. Whether or not that happens, it seems more likely this time that it'll happen than it did last year. But that means we're gonna get rid of Dalvin, right? Like Tomlinson's gone. Wouldn't you think?
I think so. I mean, that kind of stinks, though. I definitely hate that for us. I don't know that is a good move. I feel like he brings a lot of value. I don't know what your guys' feelings are on it. And I hate that, it seems like Leo is doing this thing, and he kind of did it when he was on the Jets where, it's all about the money. And then if you see him maybe not play as well, I'm not going to be very happy because I've been worried about this since we took him on. And if we get Jets Leo, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, because he came and he didn't really do anything right off the bat, and then everybody was just roasting Gettleman for what a terrible trade that was. And then last year, contract year, he balls out. But I thought like Tomlinson, if you had to pick one of the two, I think Tomlinson is not the. I think Williams is the better player, but Tomlinson is the guy that I think longevity wise, I think would be beneficial to us. But I mean, I'm not going to be upset if Leonard Williams comes and plays like he did last year.
I will definitely. As long as he's playing exactly the way he has been, it's all good for me.
Because I really think Lawrence is going to take another step next year. We're going to have a solid.
Dexy. Yeah.
We're going to have a solid. That was my dog chewing her toy. But we're going to have a solid defensive line again. I've seen a lot of. I looked at a bunch of drafts today, a bunch of mock drafts. I know you're a big mock draft girl. I'm a big mock draft guy. I did a fun little calculator where I just looked at like 1 million of them, and I got 14 of them I saw, which was the most of anybody. Said Jalen Waddle. I feel like all I've seen was Jalen Waddle. That is if I didn't know anything about the draft, really, I'd be like Jalen Waddle, the Giants. Okay, solid. That's the easy one. But some other guys I saw, Devontae Smith. I mean, so receiver pretty much, and then Kwity Paye. I saw out of Michigan, who I really like. Kwity Paye. I think that might be a good filler if we do end up losing Tomlinson. Who do you think?
It's hard because I feel like the problem is there's so much quarterback movement that has to happen still. So I'm not confident in anyone being available yet. And I do these mock drafts, and I feel like every time I try to use a different scenario, and it's like a totally different person is available. So I don't know. I think that we 100% need a wide receiver. I mean, this is like something that we are not getting around. I mean, if Gettleman doesn't address that, then I already want him gone. And it's like after today in his press conference, I don't know what about today annoyed the shit out of me. Like I was just like, I cannot believe that this guy is still our general manager. But still, I think that wide receiver has to get addressed. So I think that there is a lot of depth in this class, though, for wide receiver, which is where I'm like, I think I would be okay if we don't take a wide receiver in the first round, only because I think there are some really good options that are going to fall to the second. But I think if Waddle's there, if Devontae Smith is there, who I adore, I think that he is fantastic. I think his football IQ is unmatched in this draft. I think that it's something after watching film on him, I don't know that you're getting much better when it comes to football IQ, like football IQ wise. So I think that a wide receiver needs to be addressed, but it is Gettleman. I mean, don't be shocked if he goes and takes a tackle. Like, do not be like, no one panic. Like, if he takes another tackle, do not be like surprised. There's nothing surprising about that.
I mean, if we're talking about a guy who still thinks Chris Williamson's on the roster, does he even know?
Tay Crawford's name today.
What did he say?
Like, does he even Jay Crawford or?
Oh my God! I heard that. I had to turn it off.
Do we know that? Do we think that guy knows what we need right now?
No, he has no idea. I mean, you listen to him even talk. He's like, what did he say today that I was making fun of him on Twitter? He's like, yeah, we all, the best idea is just find very good players. Like, no shit. Like, are you kidding? Where are the very good players that you speak of, sir? Because I'm looking around and one tore his ACL and I don't really know what else is going on.
Teams that score most points win the game. Thanks.
That's a good stat too. Yeah, you should send that to him.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that really in the draft though, we like wide receiver is definitely number one. I think Kenny Golladay not getting franchise tagged. The Lions announced they're not going to franchise tag him. I know. I saw you were going off on Twitter because you've said Allen Robinson's not going to be available. Allen Robinson, spoiler alert, not available.
Yeah.
Golladay is not going to be like the Giants with a franchise tag of Williams. With all the cap problems we're in right now, even if you get rid of a couple of guys, I saw like maybe a Zietler, Solder, if you get rid of them or restructure any contracts like that, you're still not going to be able to afford Golladay and then be able to build the team, right?
Right. I mean, like you look at it too, is like he turned down $18 million a year. You guys, everyone can fight me on like it's because it's the Lions, and that's like the cutest excuse I've ever heard ever. It's not because it's the Lions; it's because he literally thinks he's worth more. And yeah. I mean, if the Giants pay $18 million, and the whole thing was everyone that argued with me was we're going to get him for $16 million a year. $16 million a year. Well, 16 and 18 are a huge difference, and he doesn't want 18. So you think we're going to go pay Leo, end up overpaying for him probably because that's just the Giants' way to go, and then we're going to pay what, $20 million a year for Golladay? Like, give me a break. It's just like,
and Saquon's coming up next year, isn't he?
We have to pay Saquon, and then you also have to keep in mind, like, eventually you're going to have to pay Danny. Like, there's going to be players that need to get paid. So, like, you can't just start tossing out money to every single person just because we need a wide receiver. We can address wide receiver. I mean, like, it would be nice if we could get a little bit more help, but I think that you need like a full stud. And without Allen Robinson, I don't see a full stud. There's nothing studly about everyone. Kenny Golladay, you could make an argument for, but you don't play 5 games and expect to get paid $18 million a year last year. Like, that doesn't mean you're injury prone, but you played 5 games, bro. Like, it's not, you're not coming off a 16-game season either.
He's just finding the market right now is very thin at top level receivers, and with the wide receiver draft class, like you were saying earlier, that is as deep as it is, especially with 2 possible Bama wide receivers that don't look like they look like they can't miss prospects. I think that's very plausible. They're just going to go draft a guy, which I would be fine with. I honestly, I know you said you liked Smith, but I feel like I kind of like Waddle a little bit better. I don't know if
fits the scheme. Yeah, Waddle does fit the scheme better. I'll admit that. I definitely will not argue that. I love Waddle, but I think that they have to. I think the nice thing is they could pick someone up in the 1st and the 3rd and still have 2 great options there because of the receipt. Like, there's so many fantastic guys. We're looking at least 20 guys that could be wide receiver ones, I think, in the league.
And then some other guys I saw, just like Kyle Pitts out of Florida. I don't think, like, Evan Ingram's not going anywhere, so he's not coming anywhere near our team. I see a lot of mock drafts saying he's going to Philly. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like I'm a little turned off by Florida wide receivers after the kind of problematic past lately. I don't know what it is. I think he's a good player, but like he has Evan Ingram vibes where he's gonna have those like fuck you, dude moments. And I know you're a big fan. You're big into fantasy football talk. So like he seems like he's going to be the worst fantasy football player to have on your team because Evan Ingram, if you've ever had him on your team, is fucking terrible. I hated him. And he's got Evan Ingram written all over it. Where it's like you got bursts of the talent, and you're just gonna have what the fuck are you doing there, man? Like that's gonna happen a lot. So honestly, maybe the Eagles do need to take it.
And he's like also the worst. Like I was so high on Pitts, and then he did that thing where he tweeted and said like they basically gave him like Evan Ingram film tape and was like, be like this or something. What was the tweet? Like something ridiculous. And I'm like, dude, I can't get excited about you. Like, what do you mean you want to be like Evan Ingram? Like,
did you see him last year, dude?
Like, dude, like, please, I'm begging you to just shut your mouth. Like, just shut your mouth because it's a horrible idea. But I think also, I mean, if Pitts is they have to I think they need to take a tight end, though, in the draft. I don't want them to take someone in the first round. I don't want them to take someone in the second. But I think in the third or fourth round, it is very reasonable to take a tight end. There's no reason not to. I mean, you have to prepare, like, I can't even believe the contract that they did with Toli Tortellini, whatever is like actual
tea leaves.
Yeah, right, whatever works. But I think that they have to. I think that there's no way that they can just not. They have to have a backup that's more viable than Toliolo. That's not a viable. And, you know, they use Caden Smith essentially on the line. I mean, he's a block. Right. He blocks. That's what he does. He's not a tight end. He's like plays completely on the line.
I feel like there's also just going to be guys out there in free agency this year that like you might be able to bring in a vet for like a low cost that could be effective. Yeah. I kind of thought that was what, like, when we brought in Toilola, I thought that might be kind of the fixture before, and then he just didn't live up to that. So I don't know if you just want to keep retreading that. That seems like the Gettleman way. Did the Panthers let go of any tight ends lately? Because he seems to like.
So. The only one I saw is, I mean, they're not tagging Jonnu Smith. Hunter Henry's not getting tagged. He would be a really cheap option. I just don't love him either. I feel like it's just,
he's hurt a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're asking for the same kind of problems that you like don't really need. We need like the problem is what this team needs is reliability. For the love of God, like, you know, like we need some reliability. Some players that are going to play 16 games, going to do their job, going to play the way that they're supposed to, and get off the field. Like that's it. But we don't get that a lot.
Where do you go if Smith, Waddle, and Chase all go before 11? Ooh.
I'll go before 11. And Pitts is an option, then you take Pitts because Pitts is a 2-for-1 with tight end wide receiver. I think that it's impossible to not take. If you pass on Pitts, I mean, and I hate the term generational, but in my opinion, I think Pitts is really one of the only generational talents that we're seeing in this draft.
But then we have like a double Evan Ingram.
Yeah, but it's
which like, could be good, but like,
is he super Evan Ingram-y?
I hope not.
Oh, you're stressing me out.
But maybe if Evan Ingram has someone else to compete against him, maybe he's like, oh, actually, I need to try to catch the ball, otherwise I'm going to be benched.
Just do the opposite of what he did last year, and you'll be good.
Yeah, I think what happens is that's why I love an option, you know, like picking up someone like Trey McKitty, who I'm really high on. Is like you wait until the third round where he gets overlooked. You pick up Trey McKitty, Evan Ingram F's up like he always does, and then you pull Evan Ingram out and you go, that's it. McKitty, just hop on in there, and then he just becomes a stud. Like, that's what I see being an awesome option. Trey McKitty is slow, whatever. I don't really care. You just need a bulldozer. I mean, look at Kelsey. You don't need guys.
That was what Kevin Boss was for us for a while. He wasn't a fast dude, but he was going to run you over.
Exactly.
And if you can get a couple guys like that in the goal line, like with Ingram's speed, that would actually be a 2 tight end set that you could run with a lot.
Right. Exactly. You have to address it because what everyone forgets is the real big problem with Ingram is that Garrett's not going anywhere. So it's not as much as it's Ingram. It's the fact that we're still stuck with Garrett. So if
those 9-yard routes are basically the max you're getting.
If I see more than one Ingram reverse next year, I'm going to hand over my fandom.
Didn't he do it like 3 times in a game one time? He's like, what the fuck are you thinking, dude? It's not working.
In a row where we saw it at least 12 times.
Well, they definitely won't expect it this time.
Yeah. Like, dude, they know. Like, it's 3rd and 6. We get it. Like, just calm the hell down. You're like,
I feel like somebody like bet him. They were like, I bet you can't just give Evan Ingram 3 reverses a game. He's like, fuck you, watch this.
It's like 100% the case because at some points it was like, is this guy serious? And then he'd show you lights of like, you know, kind of being a competent coach, and then we just blow it all together. So if we're stuck with Garrett, we need to find players that fit that playbook. And the playbook is like this big. Like it's like from this big to Ingram not being able to catch, and now it's this big. Like it's just like ridiculous.
I think it was that Browns game when he had the Rona. and he was out, and it was Freddie Kitchens calling plays, and I was like, okay, revenge game. Now we got this. Maybe we got a new offensive coordinator. We can get our way out of Garrett, and then, fuck, okay, that was terrible. Never mind. And so we were stuck with him, and then he didn't go anywhere else. So it's going to be more of the same, which I guess, yeah, if we got Pitts in the end, you could run those 2 seam routes up the middle. Like, that would be pretty tough to cover both tight ends if we had a situation like that. And
sorry, not to interrupt you, is something that like gets overlooked is Evan Ingram's blocking did improve by the end of the season. That is the only compliment that I will give him is those last few games when you go back and you watch the film, his blocking got phenomenal. Like he did a very, very good job. So, I mean, that's why if you pull someone in that maybe can, hold on to the ball when it hits both his palms, because if a ball hits both your palms, like you literally have no excuse not to catch the ball, bro. Like, what are you doing? So I think that, they have to figure out some way, which I think also, you bring back Saquon, you get a wide receiver 1 in. I think it gives Garrett options because he's obviously the most vanilla coach we've ever seen ever. And he's not very creative. So you need to give him like something to work with and have players that catch the ball.
Yeah, honestly, this is nice. This is like the first year in a while that like it hasn't just been all O-line talk at this point. And I kind of like that because our offensive line did sort of improve over the season towards the end there. Like I feel like Solder's not coming back, right? That's a cap casualty.
If he comes back, I don't know.
I mean, he was a turnstile the year he was there. It looks like Thomas is good to step up in that spot. Why not let him do that? Zietler, I saw maybe being a cap casualty. You could pull up Lemieux in that spot, I believe. I think it's Lemieux.
Yeah, everyone is very butthurt about, like, if you say you want to get rid of Zeitler, it's like you are the Antichrist of the Giants. Like, you are so crazy and, like such a lunatic for saying that. What does the O-line sucked. There's 2 people on that line that, 3 you could argue, like, no one really deserves their job except for Matt Pert. And I would make a very strong argument for that. So, no, I don't really give a shit if we get rid of Zeitler, right? If you can replace him with anyone that's just big-bodied and can get in the way, I don't know why we're spending money on Zeitler. Was he one of the better ones on the line? For sure, but he's not fantastic where I'm like, right now, like our O-line was still ranked 31st in the entire league. So did he really deserve his job? No, not really.
I would say him and maybe Gates. That Gates looked pretty good there in stretches.
He's someone that, and especially because it was his first time playing the position. So he's got to go. He added to the problem because he's never played the position before. He's like, his snaps were not fantastic the entire season. He's snapped very high a lot. To the point where Danny is jumping to get the ball. And that doesn't work with a rookie quarterback. You need someone that can at least snap the ball. So I think that was a horrible move is what I think. I think that he'll develop into the position, which is great. And I love that. But it probably wasn't the best idea last year. I think we could have used a veteran in that spot.
I would agree with that. And then Will Hernandez, hopefully, will be able to kind of find his footing. Like his rookie year, it felt like this is our guy. Thank God we finally got a guy we can count on. Last year, he was up and down, but he seemed like he kind of figured it out there. And then him and Lemieux were kind of a revolving door. And I don't hate that because I like Lemieux a lot. I don't know if Lemieux is a full-time starter, but I think Lemieux is a good guy right now going forward. And it's just we don't have the glaring holes we had. We don't have a great offensive line, but it's nice that that's not like it felt like for like 4 years that was just. And I think with
everyone has to remember too, and even like Kim Jones said something about it today where she's like, it's not a new line. Okay, yes it is. 5 out of the 7 are literally rookies, and one of the guys has never played center before and just played this entire season. So definitely shut your mouth because that doesn't make any sense. Like, I get it. Like, we're all mad about, Gettleman, and I respect that. I'm just as frustrated with Gettleman as the next person, but don't say the O-line is like some kind of matured O-line. No, it's not. Matt Pert, Andrew Thomas, Lemieux, Nick Gates has never played the position. Please don't tell me that it's a matured O-line. It's not. It's just simply the facts are the facts. It's not. And I think that an off season is going to do this O-line such good justice. Like they
a full off season
need it. Like they need an off season, the way that Pert played without a full offseason is so awesome. Like, this is going to be a guy that we want to be a Giant forever, and a guy that we franchise tag the crap out of when we have the opportunity, because for him to play and perform that well when he's not even really getting that much attention at practice because he's not expected to start is crazy. I think that Andrew Thomas, he played on an injury for a really long time too. So you have to there's so many factors that factor in. Cam Fleming, if he comes back though, I will have a serious problem.
He wasn't great.
Couldn't hate a player more. He is my least favorite player. I dislike him more than Evan Ingram, and I mean
wow.
That's big. I would definitely say Evan Ingram beats him out slightly in my hate categories. What are some other players you hate? Who else do you hate in this?
Hernandez is not high.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not.
Really?
I think he improved towards the end of this. I think the Colombo firing did him was awesome for him. You saw a direct correlation with Colombo getting fired and how well he played the next game. But
Guglielmo.
It was whatever. I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna butcher that one.
Yeah, no, like I think that I felt like throughout the season I was pretty bummed like off the start. I didn't expect much from the last season and going into it. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what to think out of Judge, but I feel like Judge got him to buy in, and you really saw that like through that winning streak that kind of brought us back. And it was all like having the COVID, no training camp really, no preseason. Like it takes a while for especially a young, new raw offensive line like we had last year to kind of get it together. And then there were games where it was like, okay, now we're kind of like Gallman's running the ball well. This looks like the offensive line is figuring it out. And then there were times where it just they looked completely lost. So hopefully, like you said, like this will be a very crucial offseason for these guys to kind of come together and take the next step maybe.
For sure.
I mean, they're still a year away at least, probably.
Definitely. And I think that's what a lot of what a lot of fans don't realize is if you went into this season with the idea that we were going to have a winning record, that was never happening. Like there was no way that we were having a winning record. Like it just literally wasn't possible. I mean, like that was unattainable, and I could have told you that. I thought we would have gotten 7 wins, but I mean, we got pretty close. So I think
Evan Ingram doesn't drop that ball against Philly.
He lost 35 points since
5, right? Never mind.
Slayton lost 11. So 35 plus 11, everyone else can do the math. That's 2 extra games that they lost for us. 2 full games.
So that's the 7 right there. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks.
Also, while we're talking about players that we hate, Danny wanted to vote in for Golden Tate. How are you feeling that he's gone?
Yeah, dude, fuck Golden Tate.
I hate Golden Tate, but here's my thing with Golden Tate, and please don't get mad at me. Oh my God. I hate this. I know everyone hates this, but I have to. Like, if we're going to sign someone like, Curtis Samuel, blah, blah, like, I don't want to overpay someone like that when we could have paid Golden Tate for lunch money and he was the most reliable receiver on this team. So, like, that's my problem. Like, he at least added depth. He's annoying as hell, and for that reason alone, I want him to ship him to the moon, and I've been the biggest Golden Tate hater. But, like, some of these free agents that fans are saying that they want to bring on, there's no difference in paying Golden Tate $4 an hour. And you're literally replacing Golden Tate, because at least Golden Tate, like his completion rate was very high.
He's got hands.
Yeah, so it's like that part I don't understand. I'm happy he's gone, and it's nothing, but please don't tell me you want to sign Curtis Samuel if you wanted to get rid of Golden Tate. Like I'm not following.
But just throwing this out there, I'm not saying this is why, but do you think if his wife hadn't started trashing the Giants on social media, do you think Golden Tate would still be a Giant today?
Probably.
Likely.
Yeah. I mean, I think and that's another thing, and Joe Judge, he was very clear that this year he didn't care what the standings were. He was going to rebuild the culture. He was going to rebuild the foundation, and he quite literally did that. I mean, he made everyone shut their mouths, and it felt like for once, I mean, you look back to the early 2000s, 2007, 2008, like around that era when the way that the Giants addressed the press, the way that they like spoke about their teammates. We haven't seen that in years. And I mean, like, the culture is back in New York. Don't get it twisted. It is back in New York, and that is you bring Saquon back, and I'm telling you, like, they have the potential to do extremely well. It's just if Gettleman screws the draft again, then this is, we're just gonna be back to square one, I guess.
I mean, do you think he screwed up the draft last year, though? I thought last year wasn't a bad draft.
I was very mad about the Andrew Thomas pick, though. Like, very mad. I thought that Wirfs was such a better pick, and I
agree.
Because
I
he
didn't think
could
he
have
punted that one. I didn't think he completely botched that one, at least. So I think it was like
down for him, though, is my thing.
He could have traded down for Danny too. He could have traded down for Danny too, or you could have waited later and taken Danny. But
no, I think that he did good. The one thing that they did very well last year is they did good with the undrafted free agents. A lot of the the mystery irrelevant, like those kind of pickups were huge. So that's why I think everyone needs to at least take a deep breath if the draft doesn't seem to go the way that you think, because I mean, Carter Coughlin and Cam Brown are going to be they're going to be impact players this year, whether you think so or not. I literally promise you they will be. And I mean, you look at Mr. Irrelevant, right? And we haven't had, and I'm seeing the comments is coming up is, McKinney, right? I mean, this is a guy that we barely saw all season.
Right.
See him those last games. He is a huge playmaker.
He's our third safety too.
Yes.
We have the best safeties right now in the league, maybe.
Yeah, and he can play cornerback. I mean, this guy's versatility. Like, everyone was high on Simmons while everyone that grinds film and looks at it. McKinney is the guy that you wanted to get in the draft. I was so pumped about that pick. I think that was a steal on our part. Him and Pert were huge steals.
I thought this was like maybe not the best draft. I felt like it was a good draft last year, just because like if you look at the rookies and when they got utilized, like that was probably the most that we used our rookies their rookie season since that 07-08 draft class with Aaron Ross and all of those guys that then like ended up going to the Super Bowl and being like, I think that was Steve Smith, Aaron Ross, Kevin Boss.
Yeah.
Was that Bradshaw was in that? Maybe Bradshaw was the year before that. Bradshaw was before that.
Yeah.
But it was just like that. Like we utilized all those guys, so it was kind of good to see. Okay, well, this is the talent we wanted. We're actually putting them to use instead of just having a bunch of guys that are sitting the bench and like not getting anything. Our team wasn't great, so they got to play a little bit more. So that is a little bit different.
I think the nice thing is at least like knowing that Joe Judge is there gives me confidence, because I think he has more say than we think, because I don't think it's unrelated to him getting hired and then like the draft going. Like if you don't think that Joe Judge has his hands all up in here, like you're very mistaken, I think.
Like even with all the Gettleman shit, it's like I trust Judge and Joe Judge and Danny Dimes we trust, because like those guys are going to turn this shit around. Joe Judge knows what he's fucking doing, and he's not braggadocious. He's not Matt Patricia. He's not fucking any of the other Belichick disciples out there. He's slowly doing his own thing. He's not trying to imitate the Belichick thing. And you're having the culture change you were talking about. It's like from when Strahan was pissed at Coughlin on Coughlin time, and it's like you get the Golden Tates that are trying to talk out. He's like, "Shut the fuck up! You're not."
Literally, I watched that. Like, if you have not watched like a football life of like 2007 or of Tom Coughlin or of any of those, like watch it again, and I promise you will feel better. One of Eli Manning's worst seasons of his entire career. So I'm not talking postseason, was 2007. He did not play well that season. I mean, he had there was only 2 years worse in turnovers. One was 2013, and I want to say, I don't know which other year. I always forget. But he had 27 turnovers, X amount of fumbles. He didn't play that great. But what made Eli great was the culture of going to the playoffs and just killing it. So I think fans are quick to dismiss what it takes to actually have a winning team.
I agree. And Eli will always forever be the best troll quarterback of all time. No matter what anybody wants to throw at you about, well, he doesn't belong in this joke. I don't know, he did it twice. If you do it once, it's fluky. If you do it two times, chill out.
And this team reminds me of that. I think that a lot of that culture of how it was, where it's everyone doubted them, every single person. I mean, Eli Manning would go out to games And they would be like, "You'll never be like your brother. You'll never be like your brother." Like, he would get booed off the field every single game. But this reminds me of Daniel Jones and the way that Daniel Jones is, it's a lot of this, the fans hate him and it sounds awful. But then once he starts performing for you, you're in love with him. Give the kid a chance. He has not had a chance. Just give him
He's going to go off. He's going to win for us.
And I know it. And the thing is, a potential that he has that maybe Eli Manning didn't necessarily have is he's a mobile quarterback. I mean,
he's faster than Lamar Jackson, according to that one run.
Right. This is a beautiful thing to have. We could have potentially the most mobile quarterback in the entire league. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Like, the way that this kid, if he could get some damn protection, his potential is limitless.
No, I 100% agree. Like, I was the right before our draft on my other podcast when I signed off, I remember being like, Giants, please don't take Drew Lock or Daniel Jones. I fucking hated him going into the draft. And then we got Jones, and I was like, well, he's got to be my guy now. Like, I hate the people that immediately just hate whatever the quarterback is. It's like, right. I didn't want to draft him, but now I'm going to ride this ship. I'm just going to go down with him because he's my guy.
Yeah. And if you believe it, to tell me that you don't believe in Daniel Jones, but you believe in Judge is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
You don't really believe in Judge if you don't believe that he's going to be able to get the best out of Danny Dimes.
Yeah.
And you don't have a name like Danny Dimes if you're not good.
Yeah, right. Do you remember when you guys were all so excited and the season before in Tampa, whatever? There was a reason you felt excited. He had nothing. I mean, You're giving this guy no O-line. You're giving him no Saquon, no wide receiver one, and Jason Garrett. Come on. And no tight end that can catch. What?
Or a tight end, if he does catch it, he ends up like he just likes to give it to the other team when he catches it or tries to catch it.
Yeah, it's very stressful.
I think half of his interceptions came off of Evan Ingram's hands, I believe, or almost half of them last year.
Am I in that far in the wrong that I don't love Garrett, but I don't hate Garrett.
We hate Garrett.
No, we definitely hate Garrett.
We hate him, Mike, and you can't think otherwise.
You have to hate him, too.
See you next week. I'll leave you to it.
No, for real. Here's the thing is, I think that Garrett showed potential, and I think that, like I said, he's just very vanilla, where he didn't know what to do because he didn't have Saquon. He doesn't have a wide receiver one. He's just always had better. I think he's a better head coach than he is offensive coordinator. I just think he sucks at being an offensive coordinator. Don't think he's good. There was nothing about it. And, I'd like to see what he can do in a season because I wasn't thrilled about that hiring. That was probably the angriest I was. I just think that how many times does the NFC East have to see this guy just, do nothing? I think, how many years was he in Dallas and just showed, he just is, it's whatever. I think that was just a bizarre hiring, but you know what? He came with Colombo. It was a Colombo Garrett package. It was definitely a Mara hiring, and that's it. It's just, I'm surprised that they didn't get rid of him, but I think that maybe, again, it comes down to if you trust Judge. I'm going to trust Judge.
He knows more.
And, he obviously sees something. I think that Judge was being serious when he didn't see this as a year of success. It was supposed to be a rebuilding year, so we're gonna believe Judge. We're gonna stick with Judge, and we're just gonna go from there. It sucks. I'm not happy about it, but I think they moved Freddie Kitchens up to what? It's assistant offensive. They gave him some fancier name.
Assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. So they gave him, they gave him this fancier name, and to me, what that sounds like is what they're doing is if Jason Garrett messes up, they'll just say boop, and then Freddie Kitchens will end up being the OC.
Yeah, they've already got his backup, or they've already got his replacement ready to go in the wings.
Joe Judge has no problem being bye. It's he doesn't care if he has to get rid of you. He's here to make the foundation.
He will punch you in the training ground.
He did.
He's not scared, yeah. That's what we love about. I want to run through a wall for Coach Judge.
Yeah, I am blocked by Mark Colombo on Twitter, and it's one of my favorite accolades ever. I think that is phenomenal.
Okay, I got three things before we let you go. Who do you, Stephie Smalls, think the Giants take at 11 if they pick at 11?
Okay, so if anyone's available,
if anybody was available,
I think that I'm torn between them taking Waddle or Slater. because I have this disgusting feeling that he's going to take a tackle in the first round again.
Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you go tackle again, yeah.
I love him though. I wouldn't be mad if we take Slater. I won't be mad. He'll be the best. He'll be the best that comes out of that. I like him better than Penny.
Well, I've convinced myself that the Maras and like a lot of football teams think that like if you just continuously draft an offensive lineman, it's like you can't get mad at it because it's like no, we're building.
Yeah, we're still building. Yeah, exactly. But don't you feel like Gettleman thinks that way?
Right, but it's like you're like that's the same guy that's also like you've taken 9 offensive linemen in the last 9 drafts, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. So ideally, I think that as much as everyone thinks, I think a lot of people think we'll go cornerback. I think that that's not realistic. I think that the way that Judge and the way that Gettleman have, what they made out of some of those players you weren't expecting to be good, I think you can put a Band-Aid there. I think you have to realize that Xavier McKinney was very versatile in college. He was someone that was very dynamic. He could play multiple positions. He kind of just covered everywhere. I mean, like, this guy is really good. And I know it's easy to forget that we didn't get to see a lot of him, but he is a fantastic player. I don't know that I don't really care where we take a cornerback as much as I care. Like, we need a wide receiver 1, period. That's like, that's it, period. So I think that maybe this year we see, the only thing that worries me is I did listen to one, Judge was talking, this was probably before the season started, but as like the rookie stuff was coming in, he said, there's about 25 guys that could be a wide receiver 1 in this class. So that makes me nervous that they're going to wait until the second round.
Sit it out, yeah. Well, what if Patrick Surtain is sitting there? I feel like he's going to the Cowboys, but if he's sitting there, you gotta snag him, right?
Yeah, if he's sitting there, he's not going to be sitting there.
I know he won't, but just.
I know.
What if he was? It's How cool would that be?
It's okay.
It'd be really cool.
I believe in that for you.
Okay, then my next question for you was, how many fantasy football teams do you have?
Okay. This seems personal, and it's like...
Yeah, I'm kind of embarrassed to ask that question.
You're always talking about like joining the league with me, and it was just like when you like have like the ESPN app or the Yahoo app, when you hit it, is it just like 4,000 teams?
Like
I'm in 19, all of them.
I'm in 19 startups.
Fuck.
It's okay.
Jeez.
Like when you watch, like you can't like root actively for certain players because they're just all on your team at some point, right?
Yeah, kind of. And I also, it's a lot of, this is an evolving process. This is going to be the first year of me having this many teams. I'm like learning how to use Excel just so I can manage. I'm like, do I need an intern? Kind of.
You should get an intern, yeah. But not an unpaid one these days. Those are kind of.
Oh, yeah, I know, but I only have claws to offer you. Like, I can't.
I'll pay you in White Claw.
So, no, I think that, so 19 startups, and then I have my, my 5 normal leagues, and I'm sure I'm going to end up doing more leagues. But how can I learn and preach my advice if I am not doing it myself? So, we'll see.
That's gonna be crazy to like edit the lineups for like all of that.
I know so the guy that I work with at Sleeper Wire, he does it, and he usually has like 50 plus teams. And he said basically he sits there for an hour, and it's just like you have to be very productive in like what you're listening to, and he sits there for 1 hour and just sets the whole thing right before.
Jeez.
We'll see how it goes. I don't know.
Danny Bostic says there's more chance of West Ham making the Champions League than Surtain being there at 11. West Ham is number 5 in the league right now, buddy, so maybe chill out on that. I don't know if you watch Premier League soccer, but he's trying to come at our boys. Okay, and then my last thing was, since you're into the whole fantasy football thing and White Claw, I was going to see if maybe we do a fantasy draft of White Claw flavors.
Oh, we can totally do that. It's easy.
Like,
Ooh.
I think I know where you're going 1-1.
Okay. One is black cherry, always.
Okay. Mike, do you know White Claw at all then? Are you familiar with White Claw?
I'm aware of their work.
Okay. Well, then would you like to go second? What would you say is second best?
You're going to mess it up. Don't botch it. It's not in the same
I passed my pick to you, Alex.
Okay. Well, we don't have to do a full ranking, but I was really just going to make the point that ruby red grapefruit is the worst fucking flavor.
Oh yeah, that's an
undrafted
free agent.
Like I would, if I had no other option, I would still just pass.
That's like Josh Rosen in the first.
I don't want it. I don't want it at all.
No one wants Josh Rosen.
If you had to power rank them, though, what do you go with? Because I would go probably.
Okay.
Like,
so this is interesting.
Black cherry. I kind of got burned out on black cherry. Because I fuck with the
How?
claws. I got burned out on black cherry.
How?
I think I like lime. I just think I got like I like lime a lot.
Yeah, mango though.
Mango is good. Mango would probably be my fourth though.
Okay.
Is there an apple flavor?
I would go lime, black cherry, raspberry, mango.
Okay. Ew, you like really gross me out with the raspberry there.
You don't like the raspberry?
No, not there. Not it. Have you tried tangerine yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it or is it clementine? One of the two. I don't know. What is it? It's some
Orange.
Kind of orange. Some kind of
Why don't they just go with orange?
Something small and orange. I would probably go black cherry, mango, lime, tangerine / orange / clementine. Then probably raspberry after that. And then like ew lemon, ew watermelon, ew grapefruit. Like no.
I didn't even know they had lemon or watermelon.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a good thing that you don't know.
Oh, at least I knew there was watermelon.
Yeah, well, what the hell, Alex? Mike knew.
Sorry. Sorry, guys.
I'm just some like redneck from England who drinks Heineken, and I knew
love that. It's fine. Red Stripe is my favorite beer, so whatever.
That's a good beer.
There you go.
It's a cold one. Like I always have.
What? So I hate when people said, "Oh, yeah, I only like that beer when it's cold." Who drinks warm beer?
Okay, whatever. It was
People
savage.
Yeah. People that don't have refrigerator time. Like
but
sometimes you
really
just buy
cold.
it.
Like
Yeah.
I keep them in the fridge for a while, and like I'll be all of a sudden like get them in and do some dumb shit, and I'm like, oh, I want a beer, and then like I go get the cold ass Red Stripe that's been sitting in my fridge for a month. You know.
That's where I'm at with like the Coronas of the world. I have to put them in the freezer for like an hour before I drink them.
Be cold, like real cold.
And you just chug it at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's all gone, and then
It's like nothing.
Slushy.
Well, thank you for joining us and talking some draft with us. Maybe we can get you back on right before the draft. I know you're going to be busy. I know you'll be very busy, but we'll try and see if you can fit us into your schedule.
Sure. Anytime. Always for Giants. My one rule was once things start getting out of hand, any Giants podcast I will make time for. I don't care how little, how big, how whatever it is, the Giants will always have my heart, and I will always make time for Giants.
Appreciate that. Let's go Giants. And where can everybody follow you? Where can we watch you? Where can we listen to you?
Yeah.
Get the
Get all
plugs
your
in.
plugs in. Yeah.
Okay, so at Stephie Smalls with 3 L's. The 3 L's, do you guys know about this yet?
Yes, because I
think followed
accidentally
the wrong one. Yeah.
I didn't follow the wrong one. I accidentally tagged the wrong one in my post
I
earlier.
love that. So what they stand for, though, are Tom Brady's 3 losses. 2 from the Giants, 1 from Nick Foles. Nick Foles went to my alma mater. I went to college with him. So I own all 3 losses, essentially, is what that means. And you can find everything I'm doing over there. I now work for FTN next week. I don't want to spoil anything, but you guys will start seeing me a little bit more on camera, and it'll be good stuff. I'll be doing a little bit of breaking news things, reaction videos. Maybe it might be fun.
I can't wait. I will definitely be tuning in.
Yep, and that's it. That's all I'm doing at this point. And anything else I do is on there.
All right. Stephie Smalls, everybody. Let's go Giants.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks,
Thanks for
guys. It
coming
was a
in.
blast.
Yeah, it was.
I love that.
Now I have to fix it.
Okay,
Thanks, Stephie.
Transition was. Yeah, thank you, Stephie. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. And she knows way more about the draft than either of us combined. So it was good to
She
have
knows
talking
a
to
lot.
us. Because usually my formulations are like on just like my feeling. It's like, but I feel this way. And she shows her feelings, but she's also very analytical as well. And that's you need that and not just my emotions, basically.
Anyone who has 19 fancy teams, that's...
You take them seriously.
Before we move on, Danny asks, is White Claw the American equivalent of WKD? No.
What is WKD?
WKD is like the easiest way. It's not exactly, but it's almost like alcoholic fruit juice-ish, whereas White Claws are just
Seltzer.
sparkling
With
vodka
booze. Yeah.
with flavors. So it's not the same. But they're an acquired taste. I'm not a big fan of those.
Okay. I learned something today. I didn't know what the WKDs were a thing. I didn't even know about that. Sounds like a gun.
Do you know what WKD stands for?
Nope.
Nobody does. I think it's just like one of those where they just take all the...
That was anticlimactic.
Yeah, they just take... I think they just took out the vowels. So, yeah, it's wicked, I think. It's wicked. This drink is wicked.
Oh, okay. Maybe it would also be like alcoholic blue slush puppy. Oh, dude, that sounds tight though.
It's not really. It's without the ice.
Maybe it's weekend. We don't know. Or
Maybe
wax.
that's what he was doing, like the
Fan of
weekend.
the Sopranos made it up.
Maybe the weekend before he became a singer.
That was
his
what he
own-
was.
Doing his
Put
his-
that meme in there. That gif. That guy going, good idea. Good idea. Oh, Stephie says had a blast. Thank you for joining us, Stephie. That was a lot of fun. We got to get her on before the draft.
Yeah, feel free to stick around and listen to us talk shit about West Ham.
If you want to talk West Ham, which I'm sure she cares so much about, but let's
She's on
shift
the edge.
over to West Ham. Let's talk
Whoa.
about. Oh, okay. Whoa. My B. Where should we go, Captain?
Before
my
we
captain?
do that, we have to start doing the points before we move on to the next one. So obviously, if you're not already, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at CBBPod. And then you can point down to your bit. If you do want to support us, feel free to buy us nice...
Wow, that's a great hoodie, Mike. Wow, that's an awesome coffee cup, Mike.
Hell yeah! Although you can drink tea out of it. We don't judge.
You can drink anything.
Go to merch.cbbpod.com, or if you just want to send us some money and not get anything for it,
Now we're really just begging.
yeah, just go to support.cbbpod.com. Why not put it out there? You know, you gotta put the hat out there.
Shoot or shoot, dude. Shoot
You know,
or
if
shoot.
no one puts anything in my
Nothing
hat
wrong with
while
that.
I'm dancing, oh, my dog needs to go out.
What's up, Oreo?
Oh no, she's chilling now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Never mind. She's riveted by our discussion, obviously.
she felt sorry for me, begging. Mike obviously needs a hug. But yes, West Ham back where they belong, back in the European spots after.
Well, we're 5 right now, right?
So it's still technically a European spot,
But
It's
not
not Champions
officially.
League. It's not Champions. No, it is. It's,
Oh yeah. Well, I want Champions League, bro.
Who doesn't? But yeah,
We're gonna be next year's Porto.
Who knocked out Juventus today? That
Yeah,
was
we're
a
gonna do that next.
hell of a game. But we played Leeds. Was it yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Jesus, time's gone.
It really
so
flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. What did you think? Because they had they had the goal. They had the ball in the back of the
They
net.
had 2 goals. They had
Twice.
2 goals.
I was a very nervous boy watching.
It was
the
a
beginning of that
2-0
game.
win that didn't feel like it was a 2-0 win until like you look at the score at the end of it, I guess. Like I don't feel like we played extremely well. Our defense was solid through stretches, but then we had some issues, man. I don't know. It was a little unsettling. If I'm being completely honest.
It reminded me of what game was it? Was it?
Because it's Leeds. I expected to you don't want Leeds. Leeds shouldn't score on us. We're West Ham, and that they didn't, but they scored 2 goals that I saw. They then got taken back, so they basically almost scored on us.
But it reminded me of, I think, was it the Fulham game where it just seemed to take like good 10, 15 minutes for the players to wake up and realize
It was like
shit,
all
there's a
last
game.
season.
But yeah, so I mean, we have Mark first, who sums it up quite nicely. First half great, second half bad, which was like once we got into our groove for the first half, we was dominant.
We were the better team for sure.
And say it once, say it a million times. Craig Dawson, what a man! What a man!
Greg Dawson podcast here.
What a mighty good man. Where he was, I mean, you sent me that meme via text, but yeah, he just literally, if he sees a ball anywhere near him, he's just launching himself towards it.
It's just that guy.
Because that was
This is my Craig Dawson impression.
that nodding.
Just that's me headering the ball. I didn't have a ball on me, so you just got to work with me there, Mike. You just got to work. It's improv. We'll improv. We'll take improv classes later, but moving on. Yes, Craig Dawson again. His like 18th, it feels like, header goal. I think that was his third. I think that was his third goal this year, and I think they've all been by way of header. Maybe he had one more that was off his foot, but I feel like all of them have come off of headers. West Ham and set pieces, man, they are pretty deadly this year. We also had the Lingard PK redemption. I was surprised that Rice didn't take the PK. I thought that it was a pretty poor penalty that Lingard
I
did
knew
take.
that was going to happen.
He did the thing that, like, you don't stop. And then, like, nobody, it's not gonna ever work. That never works. And he did that.
Just run and kick it as hard as you fucking can.
Don't give him time to think. You got a fucking giant ass net. Just put it in there, bro. But luckily, he was able to get the rebound and do that.
Danny brings up a good point. I'm an Evertonian. I'm watching West Ham this season very much Moyes' 2004 Everton team, who finished 4th that year. I think that is the beauty. I think Moyes definitely has a system. This is how I manage. Work with me, work around me, and eventually it does start to work. I think
when you get the pieces.
He went wrong. Well, not necessarily he went wrong. Maybe Man United went wrong, because I think when you have someone like that, and Man United has the money that they have, I think they could have really worked magic with him eventually. But it's Man United; they get cold feet if they're not winning, so they got rid of him, which is like a detriment to him. And I think he lost a little bit of confidence. But going off of that, I think.
And West Ham, to an extent, was sort of that way with him too.
Yeah. We was it 6 months that was a whole.
He's got to have a system in place, and he has to have guys like his Sucheks, and then like getting Lingard was massive for him because Lingard has been the glue after we brought him in. Like, he's definitely West Ham's best player, I think, at this point. Like, I mean, him and Rice probably 1-2, I would say, but I would say Lingard's probably the better player at this point right now. I just think that, yeah, man, like, I didn't like Moyes coming back. I was a hater on that, and I'm cool enough to just be like, yeah, I was wrong, and I'm happy I was wrong. I think that I don't know how long we're going to be able to sustain something like this, because it's like he seems like when he gets his guys, he has his guys, and as like as little of a fan of the Premier League as I've been for the last like 4 years, it's like you have to constantly keep bringing in guys and constantly be able to find a way to use them. And it feels like he's like, I like this dude. This is going to work. And like where you see Liverpool, which has been hampered by injuries, like they didn't really bring anybody else in this year. And like people kind of figure you out when you win it, where Man City was always bringing in new people. They were always getting all that. Like it just kind of becomes stagnant. You can't just be, well, we're the champions and we're going to run that back again. And I think even with the injuries, I think Liverpool probably wouldn't have run it back again like they are, like we're seeing right now.
It's very Tom Coughlin.
Comment.
Plenty of players don't like him initially, but if you turn up and give it all to him, you'll get on with him just fine. Yeah, I think that's it. And I think similarly to the Joe Judge effect, I think now players are definitely bought into the Moyes system. They're bought into the team culture. They're all playing for one. I think I was watching the Peacock coverage yesterday, where
watching it on the cock.
Watching the cock. Who was it? It wasn't Tim Howard. It was the other guy. Who was the other guy? I can't remember his name.
The commentators? I know we had Martin Tyler.
No, the studio guys.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, he was saying, and whereas for the last 10 years or so, West Ham have always had like that one or two players who kind of come in with the big money and were kind of like, West Ham are lucky to have me, and they kind of just strut around, do their thing. Whereas now, it's pretty much just everyone is just fighting for each other. Everyone's proud to be there. Everyone's happy to be there. Everyone's excited to be there. And they're built into that system, which I think is just why we're doing so well. And also what I like, and maybe you have a differing opinion on this, I don't know. But it just seems that no matter who we play, we just have the same game plan. Not in a negative way, but it was like, whereas before, maybe 2-3 years ago, when if we had gone down a goal early, I mean, we didn't technically against Leeds, but we did sort of, where they had the ball in the net twice, we would kind of like, oh no, they've scored, and just kind of melt in the sun and get defeated. Whereas it's like, okay, well they've scored, never mind, we just keep going.
Yeah,
and we always seem to come back at least for a draw, and it's pretty exciting.
No, I 100% agree. And like, I don't like being look ahead on the calendar guy, but I've totally been look ahead on the calendar guy lately. And I did too late because here's what I got for you. All right. We got 48 points right now. We're 5. We got a game in hand against Chelsea. So if we can get wins on our schedule against Burnley, Newcastle, Brighton, Southampton, and West Brom, that puts us at 63 at that point. Those are the teams we have to beat, I feel like, for like to secure that champion spot. Then we got to get 6 to 8 points against the likes of Everton, Leicester, Arsenal, Wolves, Man United, and Chelsea. If we can get 6 or 8 points of that, that puts us around 70, 72, 73 points. Maybe you can steal a win out of that if everything goes perfectly. 70 points gets you in the Champions League 3 of the last 6 seasons, which doesn't say a lot, but I feel like this is a down year. I think 72, 73 points is 100% a Champions League spot, don't you think?
I think so, and I think...
No, that's easier said than done, obviously.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm a little concerned about the Man United game, because even though they've been pretty boring and not being able to score, they're coming off a big Manchester derby win, which is always lifting, I guess. But I think we can definitely... Maybe. But I think we can definitely beat Arsenal the way they've been playing. I'm not saying this is a guaranteed win, but I think it's definitely a winnable game against Arsenal. I think Leicester...
We can beat Wolves again.
I think we can beat Wolves. I think we can beat Leicester, because they're definitely on a... I mean, I think they came back to win...
They're without 2 guys right now.
Who did they...
Is it Madison's out for them?
Who did they beat recently? Why did I bring it up? Brighton. There we go. Yeah, but they came back to beat Brighton 2-1. But they were 1-0 down. I think difference between us and Brighton is I think if we can get ahead, I think we are very good at shutting that shit down.
No, I agree.
We can beat them. And we're not going to win every game, but I think...
Right, that was just me fucking around, trying to do math. Like adding up points.
With the points, essentially, because we had the game in hand, like you say, against Chelsea, so theoretically Champions League is in our hands. Like it's in our own destiny. And so I think we can get enough points from the remaining games to get it, but it's going to be exciting.
I mean, at this point, it's a disappointment to me if we don't finish at least Europa.
Yeah, really. I mean, I'll take Europe. I'll be happy if we qualify for a European competition. But, yeah, I think if we qualify for that Europa conference, the conference European, whatever
the conference of Europeans.
Yeah, that like 3rd tier European. I think that'd be a bit of a letdown after the season that we've had. And I don't want to I don't want to have to go through qualification, because whenever we go through Europa League qualifiers, it never ends well. We always end up losing to like some random Romanian team or something. I want to see us, even if we lost all 6 group games, I would love to see us in a competitive game against teams like Barcelona, Juventus, Real Madrid. That'd be exciting to me.
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, I don't want anything to do with those teams. I don't feel like our odds again. I don't feel like we're gonna win the Champions League. It'd be fun to watch it. Like the Europa League would obviously be the better option for us if we're talking about like opportunities to do well. But yeah, I honestly feel like Noble re-signing that 1-year deal. I think that's like his way of just like has he gotten to play European football? I don't know. Like it feels like that's the way to go out on like a European football year.
No, so he played in Europa League qualifiers. So it's technically Europe. But he never played in European proper.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And when they posted a picture, they posted like pictures of him today or yesterday, whenever I saw it, and he was holding a trophy. Was that when they won the championship? That had to be that. They haven't won a trophy besides that.
Yeah,
in Noble's time with the club, right?
Yeah, the only big Wembley it was the championship playoff.
Okay,
finals.
that's what I thought it was. I wasn't certain, but yeah.
Unless they count like the Betway Cup, the preseason.
Well, we have
things.
won that twice, I believe. So
Multiple.
You tell me if it means nothing. It means something to me. I don't know. I have my Betway Champions rings ready to go. They're hidden away in a safe deposit box because they're so valuable.
My big flag Betway Champions is going to go there. Mm-hmm. It's going to be wonderful.
It's like the third European trophy, really.
I mean, who would we beat?
Champions League, Europa League, and then Betway Cup.
Was it Werder Bremen or something?
Something like that. And penalties?
Yeah, and not many people can say that.
Not a lot. I'll tell you that much. So we're among the elites.
Like, when was the last time Manchester United beat them?
I can't name a time.
Levels. It's just levels.
There's something to think about.
But yes, Man United coming up on Sunday.
Sunday, yes.
Sunday fun day. What time is it? You know more than I do.
It's the 2:00 game, I think. It's a late game.
That's good. I was pre-over those 7:30 kickoffs.
It feels like we got a lot of those, but that's good in like England, right? That means you're playing prime time, doesn't it?
I mean, like 12:00 midday.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Know your time differences, Alex.
I don't.
Time zones.
I think it's 6 hours, though, isn't it?
From you, 6 hours ahead, yeah.
Yes, nailed it. I know time.
But you thought 6 a.m. plus 6 was
I didn't put it together at the time when I was talking, okay, dude. I had to think about it.
6 plus 6 is double digits, and
it's confused, dude. I'm not a math major. I'm not a scientist.
But do you wanna make a realistic prediction for Man United?
Dude, I got hope, man. Man United's gonna have a letdown. It's 2-1 West Ham. Let's go. Fucking let's go. Lingard can't play though. Fuck, I didn't think about that. I don't care. 2-1. 2-1. Fuck it. 2-1.
2-1. Because we didn't have Lingard when we lost 3-1 to them last time, but we was winning 1-0, and then they had that goal that technically should have been disallowed because it went out of play, and that whole changed the game. So I think we're definitely going to go in with confidence. See, I need to be different to you, and I don't want to go too crazy and go 3-1.
Do it. Let's agree. Upset City. Are we upset City in? Let's upset City it, dude.
All right, 3-1 West Ham. Craig Dawson hat trick. Boom.
Craig Dawson hat trick. 3 headers off of
3 headers. Corners. Boom. Or
I hope that's
true. Or this could be the game where Benihana just pops off, finally gets his first goal, trick. And then he just goes nuts and scores 3 in one game.
I wouldn't hate that. Benihana's due. And he looked good in the starting lineup.
He needs to score a goal before the end of the season, because I think that's once he scores, I'm adamant he's going to start banging him in.
He's going to score 1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
I agree with you.
This one. So there we go. Dawson hat trick or Benihana hat trick. It's going to happen. Right. Before we go, I know I mentioned this pre-show, but obviously slightly off topic. It's a big topic right now. Forget your Megans and your Harrys. Papa John is back in the headlines. So apparently, yes. So he's been rehabbing in a way.
From pizza?
He apparently 21 months ago and beyond, he loved saying the N-word. Like it was one of his favorite pastimes.
Oh, didn't he get in trouble because he said it on like a conference call?
Yeah, I believe it. But I think he was one of those where he's like, But we're friends. I said it with the A. I said it with the A at the end. It's fine. But
bad luck.
But I did. So a quote from an interview where he said in the last 20 months, where he's been away from the limelight, he has been actively working and trying to remove the N word from his vocabulary. So before we end the show, I think we should don, for the first recipient of the Hero Award for the Claret and Big Blue podcast.
Okay, I
Papa
was
John.
where you were going with that. I was like, no, we're not going to take turns saying that word. We will not take turns saying that word, Mike. No.
Does it sound worse in an English or American accent? Let's find out.
Nope. Nope.
But I love it when people say stuff like that. Not that word, but when they say stuff like, I've been trying really hard not to use racial slurs, and they almost like sit back and wait for the applause. Like,
right? Look at me. I'm doing things, huh?
Oh, no, yeah, good boy. But
you shouldn't say that to start with, dumbass.
But now I think it's a regime of, every day he has Gold Digger by Kanye West as his like alarm clock in the morning. And he checks himself and he's like, psh, nailed it again. Didn't say it again.
I made it the whole way through the song without singing it.
But so Papa John, this week's Hero of the Week. For trying so hard.
Way to go, Papa. But not really.
Way to go. You nailed it.
First day I ever worked at my internship at a sports radio station. I had just finished. I just finished my freshman year in college, and it was at Sports Talk 790. And Papa John came in, and like he was an in studio guest, and they had brought a bunch of pizzas for the station. He was like, "Did you get any pizza?" I was like, "Oh no, I didn't know. I just got here." And he was like, "Well, hold on." He like called the next, like the closest fucking store, and like those pizzas got there in so fast. Those pizzas got there so fucking fast because it was like, yeah, this is Papa, like the Papa John. Bring me some fucking pizzas to this address. And it was just like, oh shit, like that. I was like, no, you don't have to. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm not even like that hungry. And he was like, no. You need to get some pizza. Try some of this pizza. And I was like, I mean, I've had your pizza, but okay. He had like the first car he had. He was trying to like find out who bought it from him, and I think it was like a Firebird. And he like tracked it down and bought it back from him. That's a fun fact about me. My first day at an internship met Papa John. So
I would have waited until he got those all those pizzas delivered, and then oh, I'm a vegan.
And not once the entire time I was around him did he use a racial slur, if that says anything.
So he went down.
He didn't. I'm not saying he didn't use racial slurs beforehand or afterwards. I'm just saying in the small time period that I was with him, he had no racial slurs. So shout out to him for that period of time.
Congratulations. Proud of you, John. Papa.
John Schnatter.
John Schneider.
Schneider. I think it's Schnatter. Papa John Schnatter.
Is he relation to Rob Schneider?
I don't think so.
Good. That would just ruin all of his movies for me.
Probably.
But, with that said...
I feel like I just derailed the whole end of the podcast, so I'm sorry. With a very mediocre story.
If anything, I started to take it off the rails by bringing up the... you always get sketchy when two white guys start discussing something around the N-word. But, anyway... Make sure you follow us on Twitter at CBBPod, at Mr. Mike Fish. That's me. Alex J. Middleton. That's him. Fuck this mirror and shit. I can't work out which one.
Yeah, I'm still bad at it.
Merch.cbbpod.com to buy a mug because the mugs are great.
I drink coffee out of mine all the time.
You can drink shit out of them. Tomorrow, obviously, is Past the Gravy, episode 398.
398, yeah, man. We're close to 400, dude.
Ooh, what are the good people got to look forward to for PTG 398?
We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Space Jam has had a lot of changes, whether it be Lola Bunny or it be Pepe Le Pew being problematic now. We're going to talk about the royal family. Royal family,
Pepe Le Pew was a bit of a sexual predator.
Well, he was. That's why he's out of Space Jam, rightfully so. Because I can't watch the old Space Jam with him in there. Just thinking about those women and Tweety Bird, which was Tweety Bird a guy or a girl? Not to assume genders, but just was Tweety Bird a guy or a girl?
I always assumed a girl. I must admit.
That's what I did too. Just I wanted to make sure on the same page.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to? I don't want to derail you. I don't want to talk too much in case spoil anything for tomorrow. But if it hasn't already happened, I can't wait to. I'm gonna search Pepe Le Pew on Twitter because I just want to be able to see the woke moment got another one. Like all people getting angry about a cartoon character being removed from a cartoon.
Oh, it already has happened.
Oh, it brings me joy. That kind of shit.
And then I saw Speedy Gonzalez people were asking for that. And it's like, man, you're a 50-year-old adult, dude. You don't watch cartoons. You shouldn't give a shit. I'm not saying that they don't have a right to feel the way they feel. But it's just like, you don't watch cartoons, man. This is what you decided to write a 16,000-word article about? Like, you were like, this is my Tuesday. I'm gonna cancel Speedy Gonzalez. And then his wife's like, I'm just kidding. That guy doesn't have a wife at that point. Because can you imagine? Honey, what'd you do that? Well, believe me, I was on the front lines and I canceled Speedy Gonzalez.
Can you proof this for me? I'm just kidding. I don't care if there's spelling mistakes and grammar.
I'm gonna tweet it anyways.
I'm tweeting it anyway. And Raw Family. So good luck. I'll be listening to that. Oh, also, by the way, Mr. Alex Middleton.
Whoa.
Before I was listening to last week's episode of Pasta Gravy, and I just noticed that maybe there was someone who does a podcast with a British guy, and he's fine, and then as soon as he's on Pasta Gravy with his friends, starts mocking the British accent. I heard you.
Well, I gotta sell people to the podcast, dude. Don't think there's cool British accents. Some people come over because of that. So, you know what? Excuse me for pushing the pod. I was still promoting it.
You wasn't the only one. I'm pretty sure Pat made an attempt at...
We definitely hopped in on that. But it's fun. I'm sure like over there they like making fun of American accents. Like, hello, sir. How are you? Good day.
They're not that good. They're all yeehaw. I'm American.
I like Russell Brand's American accent. That's really funny.
Russell Brand is good. Close personal friend.
West Ham fan, a big deal. Yeah, you've met him. You're best friends, basically.
He does. He hasn't acknowledged my request for him to come on the show yet, though. But I'm working on it.
One of these days.
One of these days. Okay.
Just keep tweeting him every day.
Russell Brand. Do you remember me? I'm the guy with the Dr. Pepper tattoo. He loved my Dr. Pepper tattoo. Come to the show.
He'll do it. One of these days.
I only just did that so I could clip it and tag him.
I have 2 of his books.
Never watch it. Bookie Wookie and Bookie Wookie 2?
Bookie Wookie 2. So that's a selling point if you ever get a hold of him.
It's a good hashtag as well.
Yeah, I like that.
Beautiful. All right, we'll end on that note. Until next week, who knows if we'll have a special guest? Why not? We like to...
Maybe Russell Brand.
Maybe Russell Brand. Maybe... Papa John will be here to
No, we actually are not going to let him on this podcast.
But until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Pew pew!